Hello everybody and welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Spirit of Justice. Today, we're starting the second trial of the Rite of Turnabout. Let's begin. May 12th, 9:34 a.m. High Court of Wright. Accused lobby. Maya looks exhausted, but I can't blame her.
Nick, I was thinking about it all day yesterday. I never properly asked you to defend me, did I?
It doesn't matter. I'm on this case till the bitter end.
I know, that's why I wanted to officially ask you for your help.
Aw. You got it, Maya. Let's do this! We gotta wrap this up and get back home so we can make your dream show come true. The Steel Samurai versus the Plumed Punisher, right?
You bet.
You look as if you did not sleep last night, Barbed Head. It is written all over your face. How can you expect to put up a respectable defense like that? I'm all fired up, and raring to go. I guess Maya's not the only one looking exhausted. Rafa doesn't seem in the best spirits herself. Go ahead, feign confidence now while you are still able. For I will see to it that your last rites are read to you this day. Guess it was just my imagination.
Ready, Nick?
Okay, Maya. Let's head on in. May 12th. High Court of Wright. We don't get a time, okay. Day 2. Court is now in session. I'll rise. Now then, if everyone is ready. The defense is ready, Your Majesty. The prosecution is ready. Let us begin without further delay. Oh, no prayers this time, Prosecutor Sadmati. I already offered my prayers for the latest victim during my visit to the crime scene. Being that the accused has already been found guilty of the first murder, let us hasten this trial, so we may put this dead lawyer walking out of his misery. I could not agree more. In yesterday's trial, the accused was already found guilty of murdering the high priest. And today she will be tried for the murder of her disciple, Pere Zealot. Hold on, what? His disciple, not her. Now then, Prosecutor Sadmati, your opening statement if you would. Certainly. The accused has now slain 2 of the most devout clergymen in Crainism. Even the lowest level of hell, the hell of tickling, would not be punishment enough. Then, what terrible fate awaits her? Balgilpocon Hell, a realm of eternal agony. There she will suffer the endless punishment of Jagar by the Gorloon of Pulmoten. Furthermore, enough! My blood runs cold at the mere thought that such a terrible place exists. I was going to ask for a translation, but on second thought, ignorance is bliss. Now then, please continue, minus the part about that terrible hell awaiting the accused. As you wish. The victim of this heinous crime was the high priest's disciple, Pere Zealot. He had been training under the high priest while living at the priest's home. I had met him a number of times, and he seemed like an earnest young man. How tragic that he met such a terrible end. The murder occurred at the Plaza of Devotion, during the Purification Rite. It was a bold crime carried out while the plaza was full in the faithful deep in prayer. Okay. Okay, yeah. Okay, I understand now. The war-barred dagger was found impaled in the victim's upper back. The stabbing caused a spinal cord injury that killed him instantly. Ah, the war-barred dagger. Lady Kira's weapon of choice. We've already established that the accused's prints were on the weapon. Incredibly damning evidence in itself.
No! I didn't do it!
Objection!
Hold your tongue. Now, being that the accused, Maya Fey, is a serial killer, the prosecution believes that the death penalty is the only possible sentence. Would the defense care to respond? The accused is innocent, and nothing can convince me otherwise. After all, the crime scene was packed with worshippers. How could my client possibly have committed this murder without a single witness? The accused's fingerprints were on the murder weapon alone is enough to render a verdict. As such, I see no need to debate this any further. But... Well, once a benevolence conducts a séance, it will be clear for all to see. Your Majesty, might I have a word? Is something the matter, Prosecutor Sadmari? It is about the divination séance. Your benevolence!
Stop right there, Prosecutor Sadmari.
As you wish. Forgive me for overstepping my bounds. What was that all about?
Barbed head, have you made peace with your fate? For this time, the divination séance will bring you to your knees.
I'm ready, and I accept your challenge. The only problem is, I have no weapons at my disposal. Our only hope now is what we can glean from the séance vision and Rafa's insights. Very well. The divination séance, if you please, your benevolence.
Yes. Let us begin. Nena!
O Holy Mother, we hold this divination séance in your name. Let the eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
Okay. I guess I'll let it play out again. Who's singing the song? And playing the instruments? Nothing. I don't get it. Why wasn't there anything to see? Your benevolence, what in the world?
I was unable to evoke any sort of response. I called out the spirit's name many times, but to no avail.
Just as I thought. Wait, what does he know that we don't? I had sought to confirm the contents of today's divination seance. After all, it is customary for the prosecution to verify it beforehand. Come to think of it,
I must go perform a divination seance for Pere Zealot. It is our custom for the prosecution to review its contents before a trial begins.
and that is why I sought to stop her benevolence from performing it here. However, she insisted that it be done. She wished to try one more time here in the Hall of Justice. It would appear Benevolence is tired from her manifold duties.
I am not anything of the sort. The victim's spirit will not answer my call, but I know not why. It is my sacred duty to convey the truth through the divination seance.
Rafa? What now are we to do without a divination seance? I suppose I shall have to deliver the last rites without them. The prosecution has already taken that into account when preparing for today. I am fully capable of proving the accused's guilt, with or without a divination seance. Ha 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 ha! You never fail to impress, Prosecutor Sodmuddy. This is bad. The divination seance was my one and only hope. Sorry. Your Majesty, Her Benevolence said she isn't tired. So shouldn't we try to find out why the divination seance failed? How curious, Mr. Wright. Why have you suddenly taken such a keen interest in the divination seance?
Yes, explain yourself. The divination seance is for shedding light on the accused's crime. It is the Holy Mother's hammer of wrath that is ever poised to pound you into your grave. You should fear it, not plead for it.
I believe in my client. Plus, yesterday somebody told me something that changed my mind. The divination seance was once thought of as just another piece of evidence. If we are to correctly interpret the visions through careful analysis, then they would lead us to the truth behind what really happened. And that truth will show that my client, Maya Fey, is innocent.
The truth is, you don't have anything else to fall back on, huh, Nick?
Maya, please. You're not helping. Shut the fuck up.
How dare you! The voice of a Matama is to be feared, not utilized by vile lawyers such as you.
The seances exact a heavy toll upon the royal priestess. It would be best not to burden her any further. Or does the defense feel that it can pose no counter-argument without the seance? No, of course not. He saw right through me. I'll have to find a way to make the divination seance happen, or we're toast. Well, since the divination seance is not possible at this time, I see no other choice. Let us proceed with the trial without the seance, as Prosecutor Sadmati suggested. Thank you, Your Majesty.
Why, I will not forget this, barbed head. This will not be the last you see of me.
Okay. Now then, I will now proceed by providing an outline of the case at hand. Very well. If the lead detective would please come to the stand, we may begin.
Sorry, Mr. Wright.
Emma and Maya have never interacted before this. Detective Sky, I understand how you would wish to save the accused and the defense. They are your friends, after all. But you must let them go and move on. Shut the fuck up. That is so fucking annoying.
But
There is only one way to save them now. By giving their souls the chance to burn away the taint of their sins in the infernal flames.
oh, I can't do this.
Yeah, this is a very big conflict of interest, I would think. Ah, no eating in the sacred hall of justice.
Miss Sky.
Yes?
Don't worry about me and Nick. You just do your job. I'm sure Nick will figure something out eventually.
Right. Thanks, Maya. Oh, thanks, Miss Faye. How very brave for a criminal with a tainted soul. Very well. Detective Sky, please proceed.
Okay, I can do this. Let me start with an overview of this case.
Witness testimony. Overview of the second murder.
The latest victim was Prey Zealot. He had been training under the High Priest and living at his house for the past 2 years. The High Priest's widow, Believe in Me, has identified the victim's body. He may have been mistaken for a rebel and killed due to his connection to the High Priest.
I see. Well, that certainly makes sense. Would the defense please care to respond? I didn't spot any inconsistencies in her testimony so far, and I don't have any evidence in my arsenal. What am I going to do now? What is it, Maya?
I was just wondering about how much the police are actually looking to Acolyte Zealot, because it just might prove to be the key as to why the divination seance failed.
What are you getting at?
Well, it's just a hunch.
Wait a second. During my investigation, Reva told me about how the divination seance works. If I could figure out why it failed, maybe she could try it again. Okay, time to press for some more information. Hi guys. Overview of the second murder.
The latest victim was Prey Zealot.
What kind of person was Acolyte Zealot?
According to the neighbors and the others who knew him, he was a deeply devout youth.
I, too, have heard his name mentioned as one who was a fervent practitioner. I suppose you might say he was the High Priest's star disciple.
Furthermore, he had been training under the High Priest and living at his house for the past 2 years.
2 years? Are you sure about that?
If we took statements from his neighbors and his fellow monks, they all corroborate our initial findings.
What about you, Maya?
Well, when I first came here, I saw Zealot praying under the High Priest's instruction.
I see. So the results of the police investigation seem to check out.
The High Priest's widow, Believe in Me, has identified the victim's body.
Was Mrs. Inme's positive ID the only way you verified the identity of the victim?
Huh? Well, no. We also checked the ID card he carried and the data in his family registry. But
what? His personal information didn't match any of the public records we cross-referenced. Maybe that's why the divination seance failed. I'm not sure what you mean, Mr. Wright. Here's what I'm thinking. His address was wrong. Yes, that's what was wrong. The victim decided to hide his identity for some reason. In other words, he was using a fake name. The royal priestess uses a deceased's face and true name to summon their spirit.
Why, yes, that is indeed true.
If he was using a forged ID and there was no mention of him in our public records, then he was likely an illegal immigrant. They are not uncommon here in Wright. An illegal immigrant? Come to think of it, Rafa mentioned something about immigrants yesterday. But if that's the case, we have no way of knowing who he really is. We'll have to proceed without holding a divination seance this time. Ugh. I'd always thought that Acolyte Zealot was Chinese. Oh well, the High Priest must be lamenting his disciples' deception in the Twilight Realm. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you think? Should we add this to the testimony? This is an important fact. Please add it to the testimony. It would seem to be a fact most inconvenient for the defense. But if you insist, Detective Sky, please add what you've just said to your testimony.
Yes, Your Majesty. He was an illegal immigrant, so we don't know his real name.
Isn't there some way to track down his real name?
No, not if he was an illegal immigrant.
Have you actually confirmed that he was in Wright illegally?
Well, we don't have any conclusive evidence.
But there's also no evidence of him being a citizen of Wright either. Oh boy. Now what do we do?
What if there was a clue in the evidence you gathered?
That's probably our only hope at this point. If he really was an illegal immigrant, our proverbial goose is probably cooked. Why would that be bad for us? Why would that mean anything for us? He may have been mistaken for a rebel and killed due to his connection to the High Priest. Maya isn't that Lady Kira who's been going around capturing rebels.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright, but...
Objection.
That verdict was already handed down in the previous trial. It is no longer a point of dispute, and I will not allow you to make it so. But no ifs, ands, and most of all, no buts. No, Larry? The accused was posing as Lady Kira, and she killed Acolyte Zealot because she mistakenly believed him to be a rebel.
That's not true!
I'm sorry. The verdict has already been read in that case. I have to assume that it's fact now. Now what do we do? Now I know why the divination seance failed, but...
nothing's really changed.
Yeah, which means we're in big trouble.
If he really was an illegal immigrant, it's going to be real hard to find out his real name.
I guess our only choice is to give up on the whole divination seance thing. If only there was some way to find out the victim's real name. Sanctum.
Objection!
Sorry, Detective Sky. But the police missed something important in their investigation. Huh? What are you talking about? The victim was undeniably a Crainese native. And this crime scene photo proves it. It does. It's a little hard to see, but look closely. You'll see clear proof that the victim was Crainese. Where? I don't see anything that would prove that. This proves the victim was Crainese.
Take that!
Look at this tattoo right here. Why, that's a tattoo of a peach. I would like you all to think about the meaning of this tattoo. Oh, the victim really liked peaches? Well, peaches are a favorite delicacy here in Krain. They happen to be a personal favorite of mine. The sweetness of their abundant nectars and the softness of their perfectly ripe flesh. They are a blessing from the Holy Mother herself. Nick! I've suddenly got a craving for peaches! After the trial, Maya. Right now we have bigger fish to fry. Unfortunately, that is not a tattoo of a peach. It is not a peach, you say? Then what is it? Take a closer look. Haven't you seen something like that before? Namely, the tattoo on the High Priest's brow. Oh my! What? This mark is only borne by members of the Crainist clergy.
Objection!
So that is what you believe it to be. But are they not utterly different shapes? Sure, they're shaped differently, but there's a reason for that. The victim had the peach-shaped tattoo inked over an existing tattoo for some reason. However, the dark red portion is exactly the same as the mark all Crainist clergy bear. Hey, you're right! Until about 20-some-odd years ago, everyone did get one, didn't they? I myself bear one on my right buttock. That is entirely too much information, Your Majesty. Information on everyone who enters the clergy is maintained at the temple. All we have to do is look up a monk with a mark in the same spot. I'm on it. I'll let you know if I get any hits. That will not be necessary. If you seek information on the clergy, I have it all right here. Oh my, you never cease to amaze. So tell us, is there anyone who fits the bill? There is just one. And his name is Real Nemu. Oh my god. Real Nemo. He became a monk 20 years ago. How old is this man? Huh? How can Pere Zealot be... How can he be 21? That must be the victim's real name. But why would he have tried to cover up his tattoo with another one? Yeah, there must have been some reason. Nick! That's not important right now! The important thing is we know his real name! You're right. Your Majesty, now that we know the victim's real name, the divination seance might finally work. A lawyer who willingly seeks a seance. This is entirely unprecedented. You are but digging your own grave, Defense. We won't know that until we try. Sure, it's risky, but it's our only hope. Very well. Let the divination seance be held once more. Why would a lawyer work so hard to see the divination seance be held once more?
You are a fool, Barbed Head, and your foolishness shall yield no gratitude from me. For with the truth revealed by my insights, I shall gladly seek your demise.
Bring it on, princess. Because I will correctly interpret each and every one of your insights.
You will regret ever thinking you could use my secret insights as evidence.
Is it gonna show the thing again?
O Holy Mother, we hold this divination seance in your name. Let the eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
Okay, I'm gonna skip it this time. We already saw it. Gingo. Plumed Punisher theme. Heavy. Pain! Oh my! It is just as Mr. Wright surmised. Praise Zealot wasn't the victim's true name. But now at last we have seen the victim's final moments. But all we could see was the ground. You seem terribly disappointed. I take it you did not find any fodder for one of your infamous turnabouts. I, on the other hand, have discovered something. Conclusive evidence that establishes the accused's guilt. You did? Ha 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 ha! A most surprising surprise attack. So, tell us, Prosecutor Satanmodi, what is this conclusive evidence you have found? The Plumed Punisher theme song that the deceased heard. Please consider this item here. It was confiscated from the accused during her interrogation.
Hey! That's my Plumed Punisher strap!
When you press the maggot armor on the Plumed Punisher's belt, ah! It seems the accused inadvertently pressed the button in the middle of a crime. This strap is an extremely rare item. Is it not, Miss Fay?
You'd better not break it. There's only one of those in the whole wide world.
Maya, no!
It is just as I said. Your flights of fancy have come crashing down on you. She sure seems to be enjoying this.
Yeah, never seen her look so thrilled before.
It is time to accept the fact that the divination seance is far more than mere evidence. It is the very truth that brings the hammer of justice down upon the accused.
That is as conclusive as evidence can get. Now then, if there are no further objections...
Objection!
Slow down there, your majesty, and at least let me make a counter-argument. What's this? Do you take issue with the divination seance? Oh, I have issues with it. I just know what they are yet. But that's never stopped me before. The divination seance is not the absolute truth. It only becomes the truth after it's been interpreted correctly.
You do not know when you are beaten, do you, you foolish lawyer? I am the only one who speaks for the Matama of the deceased. If you believe there to be errors in my insights, then let us see you prove it.
Okay. Insight. Rafa's insight.
The victim was offering up his prayers. It was the night of the rite. The pattern on the plaza's ground was visible in the darkness. Then, someone was there, and the theme to the plumed punisher filled the air. The accused held the victim down and plunged her dagger into his upper back. The blade struck true, and in that instant he departed from this world. That is everything the deceased experienced in his final moments.
The Benevolence's insights have painted a detailed picture, both vivid and true. I didn't notice any holes in there. As they stand now, those insights are really stacked against us. We'll just have to go over each and every one of the deceased's sensations very carefully. Oh.
Objection!
Was it really the night of the rite?
What do you mean? It could not be otherwise. The accused slew Acolyte Zealot after killing the High Priest during the purification rite.
The only problem is, the deceased's spirit does not corroborate that. I'll look at his autopsy report. Spinal cord injury from a stabbing to the back.
What's this?
Take a good look at what the victim smelled. Do you see how it says gingle? Acolyte Zealot shouldn't have smelled any gingle on the night of the rite. What do you mean? Let me back up my statement with some evidence for you. This should explain how the victim couldn't have smelled gingle on the night of the rite. Where is it? Yeah, okay.
Take that!
The High Priest's wife, Believe in Me, told me about the Feast of Blessings. The feast includes a number of gingle-based dishes, and they're only supposed to be served at a certain time the day before the rite. Why, I believe you're right. I'd completely forgotten about that. During the feast, the unique smell of gingle pervades the entire kingdom. The fact that the victim smelled it means he was murdered between noon and 3 p.m. the day before the purification rite. I think it's having a call console that kills the frame rate.
I am not so easily fooled. Did that autopsy report not make it clear? The estimated time of death was during the rites.
Oh, right. I taught her about that yesterday. Forgive me, Your Benevolence, but the estimated time of death is just that, an estimate. Depending on the circumstances, it's possible for it to change.
Well, what's this?
Like, if a body was kept cold, the slowed rate of decay makes the death seem more recent. Why, I believe I have heard something of that sort before. If it is as Mr. Wright claims, the estimated time of death in the autopsy report will have to be revised. Settled autopsy report updated in the court record. The cause of death was a spinal cord injury. Okay. Time of death, May 8th, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. based on the divination seance. Okay.
Barbed head! You blinded me with science!
Sorry? Wait, what am I apologizing for?
No matter. The murder may have occurred in the afternoon hours the day before the rite. Nevertheless, the murder weapon with the accused's prints on it is incontrovertible evidence. I will now amend my insight to account for this new truth.
Insight revised.
It was the afternoon of the day before the rite. Though a bit dark, the pattern on the plaza's ground was visible. The time of death has been corrected, leaving my insight infallible. Nick!
A change in the time of death is bound to cause some sort of an inconsistency. If I had something that showed what it was like on that day, it could really help. I don't... select.
Objection!
The change in the date and time of the crime has caused a new inconsistency to surface.
What's this? You're making that irritating face again. Cease that at once.
Sorry, but this is the face I was born with. Now, let's focus on what is important. What the victim saw in his final moments.
Do you have bats in the belfry, Barbed Head? There is nothing to see here. The ground of the plaza was all that entered the victim's eyes.
And that's what I find so strange. On the day before the rite, it should have been impossible to see that pattern on the ground. Impossible, you say? Do explain. This piece of evidence shows why the plaza's ground was not visible on that day.
Take that!
This newspaper has an article that is tiny in size but huge in importance. It says that the ground was covered with thick white ice the day before the rite.
What? But...
The victim did not see so much as an ice cube on the ground. Exactly. And so we must ask, what was the victim looking at in his final moments?
If you have something to say, then say it.
The last thing the victim saw was not the ground at the Plaza of Devotion. This can only mean that he was killed elsewhere.
What?
What? What? What? Then where do you propose the victim was actually killed?
Yes, tell us where, otherwise your argument is worthless.
About that? I hadn't gotten to that part yet. Any ideas, Maya?
Let me think. Well, it's somewhere green and shaggy, right?
Right, but where could that be?
What is it, Barbed Head? Giving up already?
Not at all. Now, where have I seen something green and shaggy? This shows where the victim was killed.
Take that!
The secret hideout the rebels were using.
The rebels' hideout? There was no such place anywhere on the floor of that chamber.
You're absolutely right. There's no place. On the floor, anyway. Then what did the victim see in his final moments if not the floor of the rebel hideout? This is what the victim saw in his final moments. I want to be specific.
Take that!
I was trying to present the handprints. The shaggy green surface the victim saw was one of the moss-covered stone slabs. As you can see, there are two distinct hand-shaped impressions on the moss here. I believe the victim was killed while he stood there with his hands pressed against the slab.
Objection!
That does agree with the seance vision. However, one cannot definitely declare that they are one and the same. I concur. There is no proof that a murder occurred in the rebel hideout.
But indeed, what evidence do you have of this?
I've already shown you the evidence. What do you mean? Please take a look at the second version of the photo I just showed you. You can see the results of the luminol test I performed in the rebel hideout. This is proof positive that someone had been bleeding in front of that stone slab. Is this true? This information has already been provided to the police. Detective Sky, to whom does this blood belong?
We thought it was the High Priest's blood that flowed in from outside. So we haven't tested it yet.
Why would you not test it? Genuinely, why wouldn't you test it? Then you must do so at once.
Yes, Your Majesty.
It appears the police have finished testing the blood. Detective Sky, your report, please.
The blood found in the rebel hideout belonged to Prey Zealot, just like the defense claims.
Detective Sky, do you realize what your blunder has done to me? When this trial concludes, I want to see you in my prayer chamber. There I will deliver a joyous sermon unto you for 8 hours straight.
I'm really sorry, but please, anything but that. Nick, maybe, just maybe, this is the chance we've been waiting for.
Yep, it would seem so. I hate to do this to Emma, but...
Go for it, it's full speed ahead.
The victim was killed in the rebel hideout the day before the purification rite. Then, his body was moved to the Plaza of Devotion by someone we've yet to identify. So when we thought we saw Acolyte Zealot praying during the rites, he was already dead. Ah! And that's not all. If he was killed at the Inner Sanctum, that would explain one more thing. And that would be how the time of death was made to look later than it actually was. The proof of which was left behind at the Sanctum. This points to how the time of death was made to appear later than it actually was. Do I present the newspaper again? I mean, I kind of would assume that. Oh.
Take that!
Why, these are photos of the Inner Sanctum. I'd like you to focus on this one. The proof is right here in this photo. This is the time of death. This is how the time of death was made to appear later than it really was. Do you see how the snow has been removed from this one spot only? That's because it was used to keep the victim's body closed. Cold. And that's why the time of death wasn't what it seemed.
The time was mistaken, and the place too. And just what do you believe that proves?
This is that my client is innocent.
What of her fingerprints on the dagger? And the plumed Punisher theme the victim heard? You have failed to address these two key pieces of evidence.
I see your points.
Wasn't this your big chance, Nick?
I'm really hoping that the difference in location can invalidate either the weapon or the theme song from being used as evidence against you.
Actually, that might be possible, at least for one of them.
Really?
What's this? You say you can contradict our argument for a key piece of evidence? Very well. Let us see you try. Nick, take a good look at the Rebel hideout photo.
Oh. The defense can invalidate this piece of evidence. Plumed Punisher?
The Plumed Punisher theme? And how do you intend to support such a claim?
Since the murder happened in the Rebel hideout, there's something there that played this theme song other than my client's strap. It wasn't the strap. Ooh. Is this true? The item that played the Plumed Punisher theme song was this. This is a Plumed Punisher alarm clock. I believe the victim heard its alarm go off.
What proof do you have that the alarm went off?
Objection!
What proof do you have that it was my client's strap that played the theme song?
Do not twist the facts with your lawyerly wiles. Either way, the accused would still be guilty based off of her prints of the on the murder weapon. And here is what really happened. The victim stood with his hands on the stone slab in the hideout. It was the afternoon of the day before the rite. Though there have been some twists and turns, that is the truth of what happened.
I won't get anywhere until I can eliminate the dagger. Most impressive, your benevolence. I see no inconsistencies anywhere in the prosecution's case. No. There is one. What's this? You still claim there to be an inconsistency.
Try as you might, the outcome will always be the same.
Would I present heavy here? Maybe it's sight. I don't know. Okay.
Objection!
The victim was originally thought to have been stabbed while bent over in prayer. But he was actually standing with his hands against the stone slab. So the question is, where did the sensation of something heavy come from? Yes, I see your point. Since the victim was standing, he couldn't have possibly been held down.
But
Then tell us, Mr. Wright, what was that heavy sensation felt by the victim? What caused the heavy sensation Mr. Zealot felt? Any thoughts, Maya?
I agree that the sense of heaviness seems important, but there's also the matter of Zealot's hands on the stone slab. Why were they even there?
Could it be related to the cause of the heavy sensation? Well, Mr. Wright, do you have an answer for us? Of course. If I just envision the state Zealot was in when he was killed. The cause of the heaviness the victim felt was... The only conceivable cause is the stone slab falling over, trapping the victim underneath. What?
Oh! The stone slab came falling down on him, crushing him underneath.
Right. That was the cause of the heavy sensation the victim felt.
Objection!
While your theory is impressive, you have overlooked a key fact. The victim was not crushed to death. Rather, he was stabbed. Oh yeah. Or do you claim that the dagger was plunged in after the slab had fallen on him? Plus, had the killer been behind the victim, they would have been crushed together. Well, would you care to explain? Sure, I'd love to. That doesn't mean I can. How could the dagger have been plunged in after the slab fell on the victim? The killer couldn't have plunged the dagger into the victim after the slab fell on him. But what if the murder weapon wasn't what we thought it was? Well, there were other weapons in the rebel hideout. But the entrance to the hideout is right by the stone slab. There isn't enough space between the two to use any of the weapons found within. Yeah, that's not much space by the entrance, is there? There's not much space where the entrance is there. So, what was the real murder weapon then? I better think of something.
If the murder weapon wasn't the dagger, then the dagger must have been plunged into the victim after he was already dead. That means he was stabbed at least twice, but the autopsy doesn't mention that.
Then he must have been stabbed in the same spot with something shaped like the dagger. Would the defense care to offer an explanation sometime this century? Wait, wasn't there something dagger-like near the scene of the crime? Something that had a shape similar to the Warbod dagger. Present your evidence at this time, Mr. Wright. This shows what really killed the victim. We don't have the Warbod statue itself, do we? Do I present this? I present either these pictures or this. I'm gonna try this first.
Take that!
Is this not the photo from the scene of the High Priest's murder? Are you suggesting the murder weapon is hidden herein? This is what really took Pere Zealot's life.
Take that!
What? And just how would that have stabbed the victim? Whoops, I think I flubbed that one. Okay, I think I was too high up.
Your barbed head would have made for a far more effective weapon.
Oh, something. Perhaps the real murder weapon was the defense's own cranium. You won't be laughing after I show you what really killed the victim. Well, you will not be laughing after this penalty either. Ouch! Let's try that again. It's right here in this photo. The sharp object that took Zealot's life. This is what really took...
Take that!
But that is... The
Warbod statue.
Exactly. The Warbot statue has dagger-like feathers protruding from it. That is what really took the victim's life.
Objection!
You imbecilic fool. The statue is outside of the hideout. How do you propose it impaled someone who was inside? Haven't you heard? The Warbot statue also functions as the hideout's door. What do you mean? The statue can pull a complete switcheroo. A switcheroo? To put it simply, it's a revolving door. A revolving door? Why, that makes perfect sense. Therefore, I believe the truth behind the divination seance to be this. As the victim entered the secret hideout, the stone sculpture came toppling toward him. He threw up his hands to stop it, but its weight forced him backwards. Unfortunately, the Warbot statue was right behind him.
This cannot be. But the accused's fingerprints were found on the dagger.
She had held it while rehearsing for the rite, which is when her prints got on it. Gah. This is a shocking turn of events, but There's a great deal of circumstantial evidence in the defense's favor. I believe we must accept that the Warbard statue was what killed the victim. Warbard statue added to the court record. Its sharp protruding feathers took Pere Zealot's life. It's also a revolving door. Now that we know how Acolyte Zealot really met his demise, there's no basis for claiming my client committed this crime.
Nice work, Nick. How can this be happening yet again? The divination seance is the only truth.
No, your benevolence. It's not the truth itself, but it is a means for shedding light on the truth. Do you understand now? Your kingdom needs lawyers so that they can interpret your insights.
But that means I have been misinterpreting the voices of the spirits all this time.
Your benevolence, are you unwell? Oh, the color is drained from your face.
I will be fine. Continue your proceedings without me.
As you wish. I feel kind of bad for her. Now then, I would have the defense continue. Please explain what you have learned now that we know how the victim actually died. Acolyte Zealot was killed in the hideout before the High Priest's murder. Hold on. Sorry. This means the body found at the Plaza of Devotion was moved there by the real killer. But only after the Warbard statue was thrust into him, to make it look like the murder weapon. That does seem to agree with what we now know. But why would the real killer go to such lengths? I believe stabbing Acolyte Zealot's body with a dagger and moving it to the plaza was a crime committed for fun. It was an attempt to make my client look like a serial killer. That's right. The real killer planned all of this. This forged serial murder case. Oh, I didn't see that.
That's it, Nick. Keep hammering away.
Your reasoning has more holes in it than that cheese you foreigners so enjoy. What? Like those putrid hole-riddled clumps of curds that only a rat like you could love. Your reasoning, much like your putrid hole-riddled brain, has putrefied. What's this deal with things going putrid? You have yet to overturn my argument that the accused is the killer. A careful analysis of the chain of events up to the killing exposes the truth as follows. Disguised as Lady Kira, the accused found the rebel hideout the day before the rite. But Acolyte Zealot had followed her there after noticing her suspicious behavior. Caught by surprise, she pushed the stone slab toward him. We know the rest.
I've never been to the rebel hideout in my life.
When the High Priest arrived at the inner sanctum the next day, he realized what she had done. That is when the accused murdered him in order to silence him. I believe Prosecutor Sadmati has posed a compelling scenario. The defense, on the other hand, has yet to disprove the accused's guilt.
Objection!
Why would my client move Acolyte Zealot's body to where everyone could see it? And why would she stab the dagger with her fingerprints into his dead body? She had no reason to do any of those things. This dagger in his corpse was likely a warning to the rebels. Something along the lines of Lady Kira will slay the defiant dragons. So that is why she moved the body to the plaza for all to see. Now he has the judge convinced too. I thought I'd finally made some headway. Well, Mr. Wright, about time for one of your groans of distress, is it not? Groan of distress? It kills me to admit this, but I've got nothing to counter this argument with. I still haven't disproven the allegations against Maya. Is it not time to end your futile struggle? You were already judged guilty yesterday. That makes you a dead lawyer walking. Accept the death that now awaits you, and in doing so, finally know peace. A dead lawyer walking, indeed. And then again, are not all lawyers who practice in crime? But I must admit, I misspoke earlier. Allow me to amend my statement. I had said that his defense's reason had a putrid cheese-like smell. But I now realize the stench was from his own putrid body, on the verge of death. Now I'm a rotting zombie. Think, who could have killed Zealot the day before the Rite? Who knows about the rebel hideout? And who could gain access to the inner sanctum?
Only those involved with the Rite can enter the sanctum, so...
Wait a second. Only a rebel would have known about the secret hideout. And the only person who was involved with the Rite had access to the... the only person who was involved with the Rite had access to the sanctum. Who was suspected of being a rebel is... Ah!
Did somebody come to mind?
Yes, except there's one huge problem.
A huge problem?
What are you two going on about? Plotting your escape from this sacred hole? I would not put it past you, considering you have no means to raise further objections. If I don't do something, Prosecutor Sadmati will have this one in the bag. I'll just have to bluff my way out of this, regardless of that huge problem. Your Majesty, I believe there is another suspect in Perez Zealot's murder.
Objection!
Even the most benevolent Holy Mother would not forgive such a desperate lie. After all, you know very well that such a person does not exist. No, there was one person who knew everything. Does such a figure truly exist? Tell us, who might that be? I believe the prime suspect in Acolyte Zealot's murder is...
Take that!
It had to be someone allowed to enter the sanctum, and who knew of the hideout. And that would be the High Priest. He could have committed the crime if it occurred the day before the Rite. You would pin a crime upon the dead, knowing very well they tell no tales. Have you no shame? Dead men tell no tales? That is definitely a problem. If only the High Priest could tell his side of the story.
What? Do I have something on my face?
Wait a second. Could this actually work?
Oh no, don't tell me I have some of my breakfast caught between my teeth.
No, if there's even the slightest possibility, I'll have to go with it. Your Majesty! Dead men do tell tales! Therefore, I would like to request the High Priest's testimony. His testimony? Just how do you propose we get the deceased to testify? There's a way for the dead to testify. It's known as... Summon him here by means of spirit channeling. What did you just say?
Spirit channeling? Has this lawyer finally gone insane? This is sacrilege. May the Holy Mother strike him down.
Peace! I am frankly astonished that you even know of such a thing. But spirit channeling is a secret art that only Her Eminence Queen Garan can perform. And Her Eminence is far too busy with other duties to perform it at our pleasure. I suspected as much. That means our only hope is... Hi, Maya.
It's okay, Nick. You can tell them.
But, Maya... I thought you wanted to keep it a secret here in Kurain.
Don't worry. It's not like it's against the law or violates some religious precepts, so I don't think we'll be punished. At least, I hope not. I mean, either way, we're gonna be fucking dead.
But this is a crucial period for you. It will decide whether you become whether you become master of Kharian.
We don't have any other choice now, do we? If I'm found guilty, it'll be a lot worse than not becoming master of Kharian.
You're already the master. Alright. Thanks, Maya. Actually, there is someone here who is capable of channeling spirits. But even her benevolence, Princess Rafer finds the divination seance to be a challenge. Who could possibly have greater spiritual power than she, aside from the Queen? A little 8-year-old girl? I mean, she's 18 now, but...
That would be me.
Is this some sort of joke? A foreigner could not possibly have such power. Even the royal priestess is incapable of such a feat. Peace! Peace, I say! Is this true? Is the accused capable of performing the secret art of spirit channeling?
Well, yes. Yes, I can.
Now, Your Majesty, we'd like your permission to begin. Your benevolence.
This is an outrage. An outrage, I say. First, you make a mockery of the divination seance, and now, spirit channeling. Her benevolence speaks the truth. Spirit channeling is a sacred rite. Foreign devils, I say they should be put to death immediately. Still your voices. Barbed Head, spirit channeling is a most sacred and secret of arts. Are you prepared to face the consequences of what you propose?
Yes, I am. Your benevolence, are you saying you approve of their use of spirit channeling?
I will judge whether their claim is true. If this is but another of their lies, they shall be executed on the spot.
Very well, then. Your benevolence. What if the accused accidentally calls forth an evil spirit?
Do you truly believe this foreigner is capable of channeling spirits?
Oh, no, but I wanted to be sure, as I am responsible for the safety of all present.
Well, an inexperienced practitioner could inadvertently call forth a dangerous spirit. But do not fear, for I have a Magatama of parting. With it, I can send spirits back to the Twilight Realm by halting the flow of spiritual power.
That is a relief indeed.
These foreigners have thrown down the gauntlet. Let us not shirk from their challenge. We must prove them guilty and deliver their last rites. Do I make myself clear, Prosecutor Sadmati?
Perfectly, Your Benevolence. Very well, the accused may channel the High Priest's spirit. But first, we must take a short recess to prepare. We will resume as soon as the preparations are complete. Until then, this court is adjourned. To be continued. Yeah, this is the shortest part so far. And it's 1 hour and 20 minutes. Crazy. Okay, well, I will see you all next time when we finish the Rite of Turnabout. Bye-bye!